Hey everyone, Mark from Opal Quest. I'm back from our morning trip. Been back for about 4 days now, and our latest trip we found pretty much stuff all. Moved a heap of dirt with a new excavator. We did find a bit of stuff, not much colour in it at all. Pretty much an absolute bust this trip. It's cost me a bit, and I didn't get anything back. And that's mining. That's the way it goes. I'm only part-time mining anyway, so I can't complain too much. Anyway, we'll continue to try and get you some really good opal straight out of the ground, straight to you. So anyway, what I've done, about a year ago, got this piece of shell that we found, which we actually did find mining, which was a miracle. So I've been sitting on it for a while, just checking to make sure it's really stable. There are zero cracks in it, a little bit of sand in the front, and I'm just going to cut that into an oval shape, and I might show you the whole process this time of just cleaning this up, cutting it into an oval, and setting it in some gold to make a little pendant out of it. Anyway, stay tuned and we'll see how we go. If you like these videos, please give us a subscribe and a thumbs up, and that helps out our channel heaps. Thank you. Okay, so here's this beautiful shell that we found about a year ago. I rubbed it when I got back from mining, just to see what it's like. It's very skinny and beautiful colour in it though. Now it has got a little bit of sand in the face of it. You can see a couple of little dots there. Just find something to point it out for you. There is a little bit of like staining as such in there. A couple of tiny little divots of sand. Trying to torture it. I don't know if we'll see that or not. Oops, what's going on here? So there you go. You can see there's a little bit of stuff in the front, bit of impurities. Beautiful stable stone, no cracks, crystal all the way through. What I'm going to do, normally I like free-form shapes, and you could actually just polish this and set it exactly like that. What I plan on doing this time is making a nice big oval, and I'm going to set it in 9 carat gold as a pendant, and I'll show you the whole process of that. So anyway, what does it weigh? Who knows? It's got to be, I don't know, have to be 3 carat, wouldn't it? What's your guess? Come on, scales. Alright, 3.75. There you go. So, yeah, a little bit of weight. By the time I cut that into an oval, we'll lose a lot of carats. So, probably, might end up with 2.5 carats, hopefully. Lengthways, we have, 15 by 12. Very skinny, but strong stone. It's actually very stable. 2.4, and that's probably just thick enough to set. Okay, so right, what we're going to do is find a size. There you go. So 14 by 10, we'd probably just squeeze a stone in there. Don't think we'll get a 15 out of it. We might. Not quite. Anyway, that's it pretty much. I didn't find anything in the last mining trip, like I said, so I thought I'd cheer myself up. I'll cut something that I found before. Alright, so anyway, what we're going to do is just take this little bit of sand out quickly. Hopefully it's not too deep. I'll show you the trick I use. Oops. If I can focus, I'll get a texture and colour in all the bits of sand that I can see. And then actually the texture soaks into any little impurities or cracks in the stone. In fact, I can just colour the whole thing in practically. And when you cut on the wheels, you just cut away all the black texture, and that will soak into the stone if there's any little porous bits in there, and then you basically just cut them out, and then the front's pretty good. You can see there when it's dry, there's a few little tiny pockets in there. So that's a good trick, because once the stone's wet, you won't see any of that, so you'll see the black texture, no worries at all. So anyway, it's going to come up like a nice little gem. Enough talking, let's start cutting. Okay, let's start cutting. Plenty of water. Cools the stone and also lubricates it and stops the dust. So that's heaps. So all I'm going to do is just take this black off, if I can hold on to it. So as you can see, as you slowly grind the front down, you can see the little dots of black. That means there's a bit of a hole in the stone. So we just got to grind them out slowly. I'll slowly roll the edges as we go as well. So really gentle rubbing down of the stone. As you can see, all that black texture that was on the outside is pretty much gone. So the only things left now are the little divots that are left in the stone. So it's a good little trick, because when the stone's wet, it's really hard to see any impurities, any bits of sand or anything like that. It's a very hard stone, this. I'm actually, it's quite hard and it's really not doing much. So it's a really good sign that it's a quality gem. So we'll just slowly work that out, gently doming it ever so slightly as we go, because I want a pretty much a flat face on this stone anyway. Starting to slowly come out. See a tiny little bit of black still on there, tiny little divot, so we'll just keep working that. Still putting more pressure on the outside because I want to dome this. Okay, nearly out. Tricky to see. There's a couple of little black spots still in there. So we roll that corner there out. Got him. Couple more in the centre. Oh, there's one tiny bit in the middle. Go out, sand, nobody wants you. There we go. I think that's pretty much got it. Once I put that on a dog stick, we'll be able to make that even better. Okay, so a beautiful little stone. Tiny bit of sand in the back there, I might just quickly take that out as well. So this setting will have an open back. Okay, I'll go and put a template on that and we'll draw out our oval shape. And then I won't bore you with the whole cutting process because we've all seen that. And then I'll show you a bit more of it. Turn that light off a second. Oh, there we go. That's better. So like I said, beautiful shell, very skinny. But, okay, I'll put the template up. Okay, so we just ground down a little bit of that that little bit of sand that was in the front of it, and I've dried it off a little bit now. So what do we end up with anyway? So we're back to, so we're slowly chewing away the carrots already. 3.4. So at least it's clean now. So what we'll do is I'll get my little template and a sharp pencil, and this is just a guide anyway, not too stressed about exactly how this will go. My third hand, where's the camera gone? Over there. Right, hold still. So 14 by 10 is probably what we're going to end up with once it's cut. Like that. I'll just zoom in a bit for you so you can have a bit of a look. Move that. Awesome camera skills. Right, so 14 by 10 is probably what it's going to end up with. What I do when I'm measuring, I actually go the next size up, because the pencil, when you go around the inside of a gem, inside of the template I should say, you lose a little bit. So I'll go something like that. Draw your sketch around it. So this is just a guide for when I'm cutting. I know roughly that that's the shape I'm looking for. So by the time you cut that, we're going to be back to pretty much a 1410. So there you go. That's kind of what we're looking for. And I'll get back on the wheels and I'll trim that up. I might actually cut these off with a saw because I've got people, or actually snip it actually. I might just snip the corners off. Well, this could be a disaster though, couldn't it? What do you reckon, risk it with the snippers? If it splits the wrong way, I'm going to be kicking myself. Alright, we'll just nick a little corner. I've got people that want some chips. I've got kids and that as well, like them. Snip a little bit off there. Don't do it, just grind it off. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, we did it. Okay, that's enough. We're going to grind the rest of that off. These little bits can go in the chip jar. Got bits and pieces in there. Hardly worth keeping some of these, but people use them as inlays and things. So, pop those in there. Nice little chips in there. Alright, back to the wheels. I'll just make a rough shape of that and then we'll put it on a dob stick and get it cut and polished. Time for a dob stick. Okay, let's get this little sucker onto a dob stick. I'll give it a quick weigh up again. So that's just a rough shape at the moment. Can't remember what it was before, but it's got to be less now. 2.7. Wow, 2.6. So yeah, so already we're losing some carats. So by the time that's polished, if we're lucky, it'll be 2.5. Could even be down to 2 yet. So anyway, all right, we'll get this on a dob stick. Righto. It's burning a bit orange at the moment. I run out of metho, so it takes a while to settle down, but get a little bit of new wax on there. Just want a gentle heat. This is a little bit aggressive, but start smoking, you got it too hot. But anyway, you get that. So you want to make sure you got a little bit of wax on the, well, a lot of wax on the stick. These are just stainless steel rods I've made up. Wet your fingers, you can mould it around a bit. You just want to make sure that when you bottom out the stone, it doesn't hit the end of the stainless steel, because then you can get vibration and cracks and bits and pieces. So that's all we're going to do pretty much there. So you get your favourite stone. So we're obviously sticking it on this side. You can run it through the heat a little bit. Good quality opal, like I've said before, will take a bit of heat. It won't crack. So you want a bit of heat to take the moisture out of it, because it's been on the cutting wheels. So you can run it through the flame a little bit to dry it out. Don't go too crazy with it. But again, good quality Australian opal will take a bit of a hammering. There's a bit of a myth about how it's super fragile and what have you. If it's not crappy opal, it'll take a bit of a hiding. So there you go. So what we're doing is getting a little bit of moisture out of the stone from the cutting wheels, heating up our wax, get it nice and warm, and putting it on like that. And then we just wet your fingers, get it nice and straight on the dob stick. Focus. I'll get rid of that out of the road. So the straighter you can get that on the stick, the better, because when you spin it, it'll be nice and straight. So you can whiz it around and knock yourself out like that. There you go. That's pretty close. You've all seen cutting videos before. I won't bore you too much with this. I think I'll just I'll show you the first little bit, and then I'll cut to making jewellery. A bit of focus again. So anyway, it'll come up a nice little stone. Okay, so you get the general idea. That's the shape it's going to be. I've made it slightly bigger than the lines we drew before to get the most amount of opal out of that as we can. And I'm just going to go through the rest of the wheels now, give it a final shape on a flexible 600 wheel, and then I'll go through the process of polishing it right up to cerium oxide, and I'll show you that at the end, and then we'll get into making some making a pendant out of it. Okay, that's off the flexible wheel, 600 grit. So now it's time to jump up to the next one, which is almost like a pre-polish, gets out the real fine scratches off this wheel. So I'll get into that now and then show you. Okay, that's off a 1200 grit. Camera's struggling to pick it up. So now we're on to 3000 diamond. Okay, that's off the 3000 grit wheel. Now we'll just get it onto the cerium oxide. Okay, so that's what we ended up with. That's a little gem finely polished. So all we'll do now is get a Stanley blade, take it off the dob stick, like so. That's the back. I'll give that a quick polish in a minute as well. It's a pretty skinny stone, but make a beautiful inlay, or we're just going to put it in a pendant anyway. Hoping I got 2.5 carats, but I'm not too sure at this stage. 2.4, close enough. Oh, 2.3. It's getting smaller. 2.2. Okay, so anyway, it's 2 carat stone, so that's not too bad. Anyway, I'll polish the back up and then we'll start getting some jewellery made for it. Okay, well thanks for watching. That's the end of part 1 of this video. Part 2 is where we turn this little gem into a pendant. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you on the next one.